Okay, now we're recording. Hello, everyone. So first, I want to thank you all for taking the time out today to join us and learn a little bit more about our programs, especially specifically our RN-to-BSN and RN-to-MSN programs, and also just to thank you for considering us when you're thinking about continuing your educational journey. And we're really excited to be with you all today. So tonight you'll hear from various associate deans, directors, faculty, staff, students, and alumni, followed by a student panel. Then immediately after the student panel, we are going to do applying 101, where we'll go over application requirements, scholarships, deadlines, and then finally after our scholarships discussion, we will have a Q&A. Where we'll talk about your program of interest, whether it be RN to BSN or RN to MSN. And then, of course, we'll conclude with kind of like a Q&A session at the very end, just to get any questions that you did not have answered if you have any by the end of this presentation. So with all that being said, I'm going to first start with some house rules. So please, first and foremost, please mute your microphones if you are not speaking. We kindly request that attendees be on mute throughout the entire session just to avoid a lot of disruption, unless you're speaking during the Q&A portion of the event. Next, we want to encourage that you use the chat feature. If you do have any like burning admissions questions or just program questions in general, we can definitely answer those in the chat. We have an admissions personnel in the chat to answer those questions for you. We encourage your participation, so please ask questions in the chat and please ask questions at the very end at the Q&A because we want to have this kind of like an interactive session instead of us just talking at you. And then lastly, questions during the admissions and scholarship presentation. Please ask questions. That's what we're here for. It's kind of very rare that we get all of us all in the same place at the same time, so please take advantage of that. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Dr. Jennifer Shum, the Associate Dean for the Student and Academic Services Office.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. We are so excited that you have taken some time from your busy schedule to join us tonight. We know many of you are working with families, so many competing demands. So we also want to commend you on your choice to give us a look. We know that you have many choices as you're thinking about continuing your education towards your BSN, or maybe eventually onto your MSN after your BSN. And we think you couldn't do better than looking at University of Maryland. And so we've designed tonight, as Nataki mentioned, so that you can hear from faculty, you can hear from staff, you can hear from current students and alumni. And so you can hear really about the experience. We think that we are not matched on quality, on affordability, on flexibility, and even just support and responsiveness from your faculty and your staff. So thank you again for joining us. Another thing I wanted to just point out really quick as you consider our program is that the University of Maryland, Baltimore, we are truly different from some other schools. We are designed for and graduate students. So all of our resources, counseling, writing center, accessibility services, all of these things are really designed for you in mind as a professional working student. So thanks for coming tonight, and I'm going to turn it over to Sheena Jackson, our Director of Admissions and Student Scholarships, and also our colleague extraordinaire.
Oh, wow. Thanks, Jen. Hi, hello, everyone. My name is Sheena Jackson, and I'm the Director of Admissions and Student Scholarships here. My goal is just to welcome you and let you know that I am here during your application journey and even further into helping you fund your education. Please use me as a resource. I will put my information in the chat so that you have it, but also thank you for taking this first step in joining us today. So I would like to take a little bit of a poll just to find out, while we are not admitting for spring anymore, we are currently admitting for fall 2025. So if you could in the chat, let me know if there's anyone here that is interested in applying for fall 2025. And I'll keep a lookout for in the chat. Okay, so I'll be taking down the names of those that say they are interested in fall 2025. And then I will also give you an email address to email, and we will be supplying you with the application fee waiver for fall 2025 to thank you for your attendance for tonight. So again, you can put that in the chat throughout the duration of today's event, and I'll be jotting it down and reaching out to you. But again, thank you so much. Oh, someone did ask, would I already paid the fee? That is a really good question. And if you put your first and last name in the chat for me, I'll reach out to you with something special for you. Okay. So again, thank you so much for joining us. And again, if you have any questions, I'm here to use as a resource. Thank you so much. Thanks, Nataki.
Thank you, Sheena, and thank you, Jen. Next, I want to introduce Onyi Escochai. Did I pronounce it correctly?
Yes, you
Don't
did.
yell at me.
No, you're
Yay!
fine.
Okay.
Very close. Thank you so much, Nataki.
You're welcome.
Welcome and greetings from the Office of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. I am stepping in for our Associate Dean, Dr. Yvette Conyers, who wasn't able to join us this evening. However, I wanted to welcome you guys here and let you guys know that you belong here. In case you didn't hear me, I want to reiterate that you belong here. And I want each of you to say to yourself, I belong here. And we've been waiting for you. We've been here at the School of Nursing for a really long time, celebrating 135 years of being in the Baltimore community. We have a history and a story that we want you to be a part of the next chapter. Each of you are here this evening for a reason to start your journey into entering the wonderful profession of nursing. Our office, the Office of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, is here to foster an inclusive community where everyone feels that they belong. We have dedicated opportunities focused on community building through restorative justice approaches and circle practice and events focused on dialogue and inclusivity. Many student organizations are here where you can find your own personal community. We created the In Unison statement in 2021. The school created this position statement and other commitments to acknowledge the impact of structural racism and other forms of structural oppression on our country, communities, and specifically our school. We continue to have ongoing conversations about not only our commitment, but also our actions in support of that commitment. We recognize the importance of words, but even more important is what we do with those words. Together we commit, together we act. So again, I want to welcome you guys and let you guys know that you belong here. And I hope that you guys join us for your journey into your profession of nursing.
Thank you, Onyi.
Thank you,
Um,
Nataki.
Next, I would like to introduce, oh, well, let me do it. Oh, it's acting crazy. Okay, Dr. Katie McElroy and Dr. Celeste Seeger, our Associate Dean for the Baccalaureate program, and also our Program Director for the RN-to-BSN program.
Thank you, Nataki. Hi, everybody. My name is Katie McElroy, and I am the Associate Dean for the Baccalaureate program, which means I have oversight over the RN-to-BSN and the BSN portion of the RN-to-MSN. And I work really closely with Dr. Seeger, who you're going to hear from in a minute, looking at the curriculum and the experience that you'll have as you go through. And I am so excited, first of all, that you are considering furthering your education. That is never a bad idea. So congratulations on that. And then, of course, I'm thrilled that you're considering the University of Maryland School of Nursing. I am a 3-time alum. So I got my bachelor's, my master's, and my doctorate. And now I work here. So I think that's, a testament to the value that I see. I really think this is the best value that you're going to find. And Oni mentioned that sense of belonging and I feel that. I felt that as a student, that sense of community. And I think as you go through this program this evening, you're going to see the personal attention that you get from the faculty and staff that are on the call is it's unmatched. It's hard to find that in other programs. So again, congratulations, welcome, and we look forward to seeing you someday soon.
Hi, everybody. I'm Celeste Seeger. So glad you're here. I'm going to be just really brief because I can pop back on at the end for the Q&A. But I'm a community college graduate in 2006, and then I came to Maryland, and I'm a 3-time alum as well. And so I'm happy to be a part of the school and to direct the program that I grew up in. So maybe one of you will be the program director one day.
Thank you, Dr. McElroy, and thank you, Dr. Seeger. So next, I'm going to be presenting or introducing Arthur Caesar. He will be the moderator for our student and alumni panel. So Arthur, are you here? I know you're here, but hey,
Hi.
you will take it away.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us again. I'm going to introduce our panel. If everyone's everyone's on camera, cool. So I'll start with Wanda Baker Joseph, who's an alumni, and then I will also another alumni is Irene Matera as well. Afi, I don't see is in the chat today, so I think something probably is not here just yet, but I want to just give a moment for you to introduce yourselves to the crowd and tell them about the program. Whoever wants to go first.
I can go first. Hi, everyone. My name is Irene. I graduated in May of 2024, almost a year now, and it seems like it flew by. I'm an Air Force nurse, med-surg, currently work on a surgical trauma unit. However, training so I can get a little more exposure to higher acuity patients at a level 1 trauma center. But I do think that the RN-to-BSN program prepared me really well for facing life as a real nurse. I was thankful that I found something that could bridge the gap for online environment with professors that actually really cared. And, I encourage you to do the research, but I had a phenomenal time with the program. If you have whatever questions you have, please let us know. Wanda?
Good evening. My name is Wanda Baker Joseph. I am a 2-time alumnus. That picture that you see actually is quite recent. I just graduated with my MSN in December, and I graduated in 2020, the year of COVID, with my BSN. Nursing is my second career. I was an attorney for 20 years prior to becoming a nurse. I went the good old-fashioned way. I went to Howard Community College. Despite having gone to law school, I went back to community college. So that was a very different experience. It was a positive one, I will say. And then I started working in the system, and then I applied for the RN-BSN program along with the Conway Scholarship, and then started at 2019 with my BSN. And then subsequently, as I progressed throughout my career, I eventually moved into management, and then went back and got my MSN and graduated. I think the school is, having gone to a number of schools, I think that I am I guess, a subject matter expert, if we shall say. So I can certainly say that the school is quite, you will be more than adequately prepared, whatever field you decide to go in, should you decide to attend this school, whether that is clinical and on the floor, whether it's research, or whether it is administration. It will prepare you for all of that. And I encourage you to look into all of those avenues. I will say to you, congratulations on making the choice to continue to pursue nursing. Nursing is, as you all know, one of those rare careers that allow you to go into a plethora of different areas. And particularly if you continue to further yourself with advanced education. So again, welcome as well. And any questions that you might have of me, I am more than willing to ask. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. Thank you, both of you. Yeah, as someone who knows a lawyer, that's a lot of work to do it all over again. So I'm glad you're here with us today. You touched on a couple of things and themes, both of you, Irene and Wanda, that I want to just I guess start the questions off with. How has your UMB education impacted what you do today in your own career? Whoever wants to go first.
I'll go first since Irene went first last time. Uh, um, well, I will say that I decided it's impacted me quite significantly in that I decided to go into management and nursing. And you cannot go into management in nursing without having a bachelor's. So it significantly impacted me as far as that is concerned. However, it impacted me because it does help you to continue to know how to critically think, and not just in one aspect, but in all aspects regarding um, patient care, regarding data, regarding research, all of that. I think that one of the strengths of the University of Maryland School of Nursing is that you will write one paper and then two papers and then three papers and four and so on and so on. And that will help you in any profession. The ability to write is a lost art. Um, I know Gen Z, you're out there. I can't see you, but you traditionally, statistics say that you have not written as much as most generations. And I think the University of Maryland will prepare you well for being a strong writer. And that can only serve you uh, well in any profession.
Wonderfully put, Wanda. I actually hope to be just like you one day and go back as well for my MSN. So for me, it also impacted my career trajectory and both my clinical expertise, if you will. So I was in the military for something completely unrelated to the medical field. So to stay in the military and to become a nurse, you have to have your bachelor's. So I had to find an avenue where I could achieve that while still working full time. And the program here was the best fit for that. I did find, though, as a natural consequence of that, that my ability to, as she said, critically think was really enhanced through this program. And I feel like my mental processes not only sharpened, but I became more confident in my ability to think quickly on the floor and to see the bigger picture with things. As she mentioned, you do write a lot, which is true, but it's for the better. You know, in the moment, you may have the doubts about that, but you always come out better for it. So.
Ode to the days of long papers. Speaking of which, what did you know about Sun prior to applying? Like, why did you choose us? Irene, you go this first this time.
Sure. So at the time that I applied, I was looking up the school and statistics of, for example, they were, I think at the time, ranked 10th in the nation. And I was also lucky that since I was stationed in Maryland at the time, I had known folks who had gone through the school. So I had compared sort of their feedback with other schools. And much like Wanda, I've been to a few schools since I'm in the military, and I kind of had to ping pong, across different schools throughout the nation. And I found that folks reflected well on not just the faculty and staff, but just the organization of how they put their material out. So those are the things I considered when I wanted a program that was already well oiled and fine tuned. I wanted to put forth a good effort into something that I knew would invest in me and give me a lot to give back.
I think all these areas are fine in here.
I think that I would say one of the things that the reason that I applied to University of Maryland at Baltimore was because that it's highly respected, and it's one of the best schools for nursing in the country for advancing your education. Many people in the medical field, pharmaceutical as well, refer to it as, the cream of the crop, so to speak, even though there are others that claim to be, right? So, but one bonus is, of course, well, not of course, but I'm a Maryland resident. And so the in-state cost, it's an excellent value for the education that you receive. So those are the two things that led me to apply to University of Maryland School of Nursing.
I like that you both mentioned like aspects that that really like pushed you in one direction or the other to come to us. And I'm wondering, like, what kind of flexibility did you find while you were in the program? Was life livable, essentially?
I'd like to give that some thought for a moment, Irene. Why don't you just jump
Sure.
right in?
Life was in fact livable, but you do have to set certain expectations with yourself. And um, for me, I think a key component of why it was livable and why I was able to get the most out of the program was communication with myself, with my family, with my peers, with my professors. I say with myself because I had to make sure that I was keeping myself honest with deadlines, things that were coming due. So I would religiously use my planner, calendar updates to sort of stay on track. And I think that was essential to my success in the program and to having a life as well. And then communicating with my family and friends, can sometimes be rigorous, especially if you're working and doing this program. So expectation management of, I might be busy during these hours, or I might have a lot going on at this point in time. So just working with those who are close to you with what to expect while you're in this program. And then communication with peers and with professors. I say with peers because even though it's an online environment, you do have group projects. So the earlier and the more often you communicate, the more smooth that transition is, because folks are going to be on different shifts, they're going to be working different days. So communicating with them on soft deadlines, hard deadlines is crucial because it impacts your ability to go along with your own life as well. And then if anything, when life happens, communicating with your professors, they will work with you as long as you let them know what's going on. And then I'll foot stomp, check your email. I think that really helps to stay organized and know what to expect. So incorporating those aspects, I found that I could find somewhat of a balance between school, work, and life.
So, all of those things that Irene mentioned were excellent, and I'm certain that you certainly can have a work-life balance. But I finished the program in a year, so I did not necessarily. That was my goal, and so I just started in 2019 and finished in 2020. So, and I went every single semester. So, uh, I will say um, that will not be everybody's experience, but that was what was best for myself and for my family. However, even though did not have an excess of social time, I will say that the professors are more than willing to engage with you, but you need to engage with them. They are not going to track you down. You need to do that yourself. And as Irene said, the sooner you connect with them, the better. If you have a problem, please, as you know, if you are fortunate enough to be accepted, and as DEI said, you belong here, so I'm sure you will be. Many of you will be. But if you are, what you would want to do is connect with your colleagues as well as your professors and early on. And do not wait until the last minute. And then that will make your life more livable. The bane of my existence has always been and will continue to be group projects. And so when you have group projects, you need to set an outline and you need to do it on day one. The day you get that curriculum, the day you get that agenda, whatever it is, and decide who's going to do what and get it done weeks, 2 weeks before the deadline, 3 weeks, whatever it is. But again, the main point of success in nursing school, because most of you will work and will work full time. You need to be organized. I am going to give you a pearl, even though no one has asked for it. I have shared this with my mentors as well, who have gone on to gone on for their PhD. What you should do is when you get your curriculum for whatever class you have, you need to get out that desk calendar. You can go buy it at the dollar store or wherever, and then write down every single assignment on your calendar. You want to be able to know at a glance when this is due, when that is due, how much time you have. And I would, if you have children, put your kids' activities. If you have, a spouse or a partner, put what you're going to do with them. So you should have a walk-in calendar and not an electronic one, but again, one that you could see at a glance, like a huge one, so that you know how much time you have to prepare and to study. And I think organization is the key to success in nursing school and really, quite frankly, any school and any position that you might have after that. So that is how I succeeded in nursing school, and finished my BSN in a year. So
One that was like perfect comedic timing, by the way. But I'm getting a sense from the overall from both of you is like this is an investment that you're putting into yourself, into your future self. Um, and that's a really good way to look at it. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But last question, because I was told not to do dad jokes here today. Share an academic experience you had here at UMSUN that stands out to you. This could be a class, it could be the professor, a clinical experience, an opportunity you had, maybe an event. Um, Floor is yours.
I think for me, two things. First of all, I was blessed to have Dr. Seeger as my professors, and I think I learned a lot as that being one of the core foundational classes you first took, and it really set the tone for the rest of my semester, I believe, because it really gave me the foundations for good writing. And without that, you're not going to proceed with higher education. So that has stayed with me, and I want to continue to take that on to the next level. As far as another moment that has always stuck with me is our clinical for public health that you have the last semester of your RN-to-BSN program. And I think it was significant because, I also, Wanda, went to Howard Community College for my AD. We had clinical rotations and whatnot, but I had the opportunity to work in the neighborhood right by the school, and impact a lot in the heart of Baltimore. And I think applying an education, ironically, through Baltimore and giving back to the people, I found that very fulfilling. And so I think that was a nice full circle effect for after that.
So I think I have to think back for my RN to BSN program. Two of my classes, well, actually, one of my classes that stood out to me was during the while I was going, that what came to the forefront of the healthcare was the disparities that existed in maternal health within the community. I do not remember the name of my professor. However, that was one of the most rewarding classes that I had. I will honestly tell you that I wrote like a 20-page paper at the end because I just had a lot of passion. I went and reviewed a plethora of documents, a plethora of community assessments, statistics out the wazoo, regarding health disparities, and coming up with a resolution of what we needed to do to address those. So I say that to say that you will have your core classes, but you will also have electives that will speak to your passion. And although I do not practice and did not practice in women's health, I am a stroke oncology, neurology, and all of that nurse. You can still address your passion because I have my passion, and one of those, is Black maternal health. And so there should be, as I said, many classes that can speak to your passion. And I would encourage you to take it because who knows where it might take you and what you might want to do further, even in addition to nursing.
Thank you so much, both of you. Uh, we appreciate you all we appreciate you both joining us. And we're always happy to have your input whenever you have the time to hang out with us again. Thank you again. I'm going to pass it back over to Nataki.
Sorry, if you can tell, I'm not technologically savvy, so if I'm looking down, I'm trying to figure out controls. So we actually have, I believe about 10 more minutes. So I'm gonna open up, I guess, the chat to ask any questions to our alumni. If you guys have any questions, it's a good amount of you guys in here. So I don't know if you will want to take yourself off mute, but if you want to maybe write your questions, if you have any in the chat in the meantime. Oh, another message just popped up. Sorry, I got distracted. But if you have any questions.
I have a question.
Mhm.
I'm not too sure if this was mentioned already, but I guess as a full-time nurse, how many classes, I guess, would you guys recommend to take while being in school? Like, would you recommend like 3 classes at a time, 2 classes at a time? Like, I guess to, be able to manage both of those schedules.
I think everyone's journey will be a little different. I think 3 might be a bit of a lofty start to begin. I'd say maybe start your first semester with like maybe 2 classes, see if you're comfortable there. I think that might be a good start. And if that meshes well, you could go up to 3, but I think 2 is honestly a good feel for still having enough time to glean something out of each class instead of just getting everything done back to back. If you have the opportunity to do more than that, sure, but I wouldn't sacrifice your ability to be a strong worker and a student in order to burn fast, unless you have the ability to do so. But everyone's different, but I think 2 is a good starting point. Has other thoughts
Thank
on
you.
Did we have any other questions before we move on? Are there clinical rotations for the MSN portion? Marty, you did the MSN, right?
I did. So yes, there are, it's not called clinical rotations, just for your own personal edification. It is a practicum. And the practicum, it is something that you do. It is typically the last thing that you do in the MSN program. And you typically need at least 100 hours of clinical hours at a particular hospital, whatever you might choose. And that is something that once you get to that point, they will discuss with you. Essentially, you choose your particular area that you would like to concentrate in, and then the school will find you a preceptor in the same way that you had a preceptor probably in the BSN portion. Or ADN portion. And then you get with your preceptor and you work with that person for at least 135 hours or more. But they're very flexible about how those hours are allocated. And they give you sufficient time. And again, they let you know right away, the first day or the first week of class, what the requirement is, so that you have more than sufficient time to finish them. And as long as you get started in a timely fashion, you should have no problem finishing. But again, if you wait until the last minute, then you'll run into some challenges. So again, organization is key.
I echo organization as a fellow grad student. I understand. Um, so next question I had, as a new MSN student, are you paired with another student in the beginning to serve as a mentor?
I don't know about a specific program that sort of pairs folks, but as you meet folks and as you engage with folks, I think it's good to be there for each other and pick each other's brains. I don't know if Afi made it here tonight, but I was lucky enough to meet her on the first day I was ever on campus, and she's still in the program, and we still connected, even after I finished the program, and kept in touch about how the program is, how's life, how are classes. So as you meet folks, if you give them the opportunity to impact you, you can do the same for them. So I don't know if that answers the question at all, but
So I second what Irene says, but I will also add that if anyone here becomes a Conway Scholar, then they are paired with a mentor, and they will have a mentor throughout the program.
Also want to add, like, the faculty are here as well. So even if you see a faculty member that may not necessarily be one of your professors, technically, you could still ask them and pick their brains. They can function also as your mentor. We have a really good open door policy. So if you find someone that has kind of like a niche or an interest that you also kind of mirror or echo, you can use them as your mentor as well. Doesn't necessarily need to be a student. The next question I think I see. I think we got some admissions folks answering. So sorry. I'm graduating this spring and have not taken nutrition yet. If I decide I want to apply, does that course have to be completed? Okay, that's an admissions question. So we got you, Spencer. I think you guys have answered all of the questions that have been put in the chat. So I'm not going to hold you any longer than I have to because I see both of you guys are at work. I want to once again echo the thank you from Arthur also and from just us at the School of Nursing and the admissions office for taking the time out because you guys are working and we appreciate you for giving that and just answering questions because we need it from you. We are not nurses. I mean, even though Dr. Seeger and Dr. McElroy are, and also Dr. Conyers, even though she did not make it today, but everyone else is kind of just giving the information as it kind of comes into us. So I really do appreciate your help and your time for today.
Thank you for having us. Good luck to everyone, regardless of where you're going, and I hope you do choose this school.
Absolutely.
So,
Thank you for having us as well. Thank you for having me as well. And good luck to everyone. And again, if you choose it, it is a decision that you will not regret. I can assure you. All righty.
all
Have a
right.
good night. Bye-bye.
Night. So next I would like to introduce Kelly Pollock. She is the Associate Director of Recruitment and Counseling in the Office of Admissions, Student Scholarships. Sorry, brain.
Hi everyone. So I just want to let you know if you do choose this path with RN-to-BSN or RN-to-MSN, I will be your admission contact and I will be the main person to help you through the process. And tonight I'm going to explain the application process. Nataki, can you please do the slide? All right, so the RN-to-BSN program is an option for licensed RNs or someone who's committed to getting their license after their first semester with us. The program has 31 credits and it builds upon the knowledge and the experience you earned in your associate program. All of our classes are offered online. Your practicum will be in person. We have fall and spring start dates, and you are able to take courses over the summer. Next slide. So the program, if you go full-time, is 2 semesters, 1 year. If you choose to go part-time, you have to take at least 1 course per semester, and you have 5 years to complete the program. Your program is going to be personalized for you. You will work with your advisor to determine your schedule to make sure it works with your outside needs. And then, as I mentioned, you have the practicum, it's 90 hours. And we work with hundreds of clinical learning sites, and you will also work with your advisor to determine placement for your practicum. All right, so we also have a partnership. It's called dual enrollment. And the way this works is you will do your associate degree at a community college, and we have partnerships with every community college in Maryland. You will then earn your RN license, and then you will come to the School of Nursing to complete your BSN.
Here's acting funky. I think I skipped the slide. There you go.
Okay, so more about dual admission. To be eligible, you do have to have a 3.0 cumulative GPA that includes all college coursework you've completed and a 2.75 science GPA that includes all attempts of the 4 core science courses. As I mentioned, you will complete your associate at the community college. If you are in the partnership, we are going to waive the application fee for you and also the need for a recommendation. And I will be your main point of contact for this to make sure you have all the information because it gets a little tricky, but you if you're interested, you can start taking our courses early, but you do your application for the term after you will graduate with your associate degree, because that's when you will matriculate with us. And we'll have personal one-on-one appointments at that point to make sure you understand the whole process. So like I said, so you're going to need to make sure that you are speaking with your advisors. If you do want to take our courses early through this partnership, you can enroll in our courses after your first semester in your associate program. The first concurrent course you do with us is free. We have a special scholarship that will pay for it. And then after that, you would have to pay out of pocket, but we don't encourage you to take too many courses early because we want to make sure that you are successful in your associate program. But then when you come to us, you will have 1 or 2 fewer courses to take for your BSN. Okay, so we also have the RN to MSN option. This is also for someone who is licensed looking to further your education. So these programs are going to be 69 to 71 credits. 31 credits are going to be the BSN portion, and then you will continue on into your MSN specialty, which would vary 38 to 40 credits. And it's an accelerated path to earn both your BSN and also your MSN as wanted. And you are able to earn 6 graduate level credits at the undergrad price. And then same fall and spring start dates, and you are also able to take summer courses. So if you were to choose the RN to MSN route, full-time would be 3 years. Part-time, you would have 6 years to complete the program. And this is for someone who is a registered nurse, who is wishing to pursue leadership and also specialty preparation. And we have 3 specialties: community public health, nursing, leadership and management, and nursing informatics. All right, so our specialties, community public health, is designed to teach you how to solve real-world health problems with an emphasis on social justice, population health, and evidence-based programs. Our nursing leadership and management program is designed to refine your administration skills and also how to lead patient care teams in a variety of healthcare settings. And nursing informatics is designed to help you improve patient care outcomes using technology and also integrating nursing science with information management. All right, so the application requirements, you will do an online application through our website. There is a $75 application fee. You'll submit transcripts from every institution you've attended, official transcripts, and it is very important that any school you've attended, we get those transcripts. There's going to be an essay, a prerequisite course list, your resume highlighting all of your work experience, 1 letter of recommendation, and if you have a degree outside of the United States, an English language proficiency exam. So to be eligible, you must have at least a 2.5 cumulative GPA, a 2.75 science GPA, and you must hold an active US or compact state registered nursing license by the end of your first semester at the School of Nursing. And your application is not considered complete until all of your supplemental documents are submitted. So our deadlines. The spring deadline, I know you guys, some of you were asking about 2026 and 2027. Deadlines stay the same, so this can help you prepare. The deadline for spring is December 15th, and that's also for our Conway Scholarship. And then the final deadline will be January 5th, and the decisions will be rolling. And fall deadlines are July 15th, and then final August 5th. And I think that's it. So now I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Bianca Chandler Bagwell, who is the manager of our student scholarships team. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Kelly. All right. Hi, my name is Bianca, and I am the manager of scholarships. So just to kind of give you guys some brief information, let's talk about understanding the cost. Please definitely feel free to scan the QR code there. If you visit our website, you're able to view the tuition and fees for the entire length of your program. It's going to be based on your residency, whether you're in state or out of state. And it also gives you a chance to have a very detailed look into the cost of attendance and how it breaks down all of your costs, looking at tuition, fees, books, materials, and all those important items that students have questions about on a regular basis. So please feel free to scan the code before Nataki moves over to the next screen for me. I think we're good. Thank you. Next, which is everybody's favorite topic, is reviewing scholarship opportunities. Again, go ahead and grab your chance to scan the QR code. It will forward you to our website to look at all the scholarship opportunities that we have available for our students. We have options such as Conway scholarships and donor-funded scholarships, and also state scholarships as well that you can take a look into. Thank you, Nataki. So the Conway Scholarship, it is based on financial need. So along with that, it is important to make sure you do complete your FAFSA application. If you do plan to attend for the fall 2025 start date, you'll want to be sure to complete the 25-26 FAFSA application that is open and available right now. Our school code is listed there at the bottom for you, so I would definitely go ahead and jot that number down, and I'll also be sure to add it to the chat as well. Our FAFSA school code is going to be 002104. And our application deadline, as Kelly mentioned, it's going to be July 15th, 2025. So just some really important scholarship tips for you. Make sure you meet all application deadlines. You want to be sure to gather all your application materials as early as you can. Make sure you request any letters of recommendation early to give them a chance to write a compelling recommendation for you. And then also you want to be sure to write a compelling essay for yourself. And in doing that, please make sure to be your own advocate when writing your own essay. Thank you, Nataki.
Thank you, Kelly, and thank you, Bianca. So now we are at the point of our kind of like presentation, question and answer session, where we'll learn more and get more insight on the respective RN-to-BSN and RN-to-MSN programs. So, Dr. Seaver, you can take it away.
Yes, hi, everybody. Thanks for coming on and you know, they went over such good information, and I think the things that you might want to know at this point or sort of plan a study, that's where I come in. I could start with a question, but then I can just sort of share with you. Our website is the RN-to-MSN program appropriate for nurses who are going to be
Were you able to go across the hall?
It
Were you
is.
able to go across the hall?
So, Alti, I think you need to
Were you
mute.
able to go?
There we go. So it is. And so what you want to do when you do get into the program is let me know that. So what they were saying before, that's really important. And someone had a question about, is there a mentor when you're in the MS program? And it's really sort of driven by you. And so one of my main roles as the program director is I've been at the school for a while, and I know sort of all the cast of characters, if you will, right? Who goes where, who does what. And so if you were to come to me and say, hey, I'm in the RN-to-MSN program, I'm going to do this track, I can get you directly connected with the specialty directors of the master's program, and then I can get you connected with some of the people who are the leadership of the CRNA program, and really get you connected with some of the folks there. And so you definitely want to have a connection with them to understand what you should be taking now, where you should go for work. I do understand, you know, you need some ICU experience, at least 2 years before applying and things like that. And so that's just sort of basic knowledge, but to meet with them specifically. The other thing that's important to do when you're a student is you'll get emails about the ELM. The ELM is really important. Every Monday it comes out for the campus wide. Every Tuesday it comes out specifically for the School of Nursing. You want to make sure that you're checking the ELM, because often what happens in the ELM is information will be there when there is a DNP chat or a CRNA chat, and then you can make sure to log in just like you did tonight, right? You found this information and you logged in to get more information. The same would happen that way, but we can also work sort of behind the scenes, getting you connected with the folks that you want to get connected with in terms of that program. The RN-to-MSN program is very nice because, as it mentions, It takes 2 graduate level courses and puts them into the RN-to-BSN classes. So you're 2 classes ahead in your master's program if you do it that way. So there's 9 core courses for the RN-to-BSN. 2 are swapped out for graduate courses. You pay a graduate price, which is nice, but you also are sort of ahead. So if you know that you're going that route, it is a wise decision. It's a great question.
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm interested in doing the RN to MSN route. However, I'm also interested in the MSN MPH dual degree option. Is there a way to obviously enroll in both, prioritize the MSN, but also get the benefit of the 12 shared credits between the MSN and the MPH, plus the 6 credits that are at undergraduate rate?
That's a great question that I don't know that I have enough information to answer. I don't know if Kelly or Sheena are still on the call. I don't know that you could combine classes and then combine them again. Right? Like, I don't think that that's a reality. However, how that would work, I'm not really clear. So the folks in admissions could answer how you could do the dual RN to MSN or the MSN and MBA dual. That's not an RN, right? There's an RN to MSN, and then a separate admissions is MSN to an MBA. That's a different admission.
Yeah.
Someone who has a bachelor's.
Yeah.
RN to MS is for someone who doesn't yet have a bachelor's, so they're different. So
And Celeste, you're spot on, right? So, Sarah, you can definitely reach out to us, myself or Kelly, and Kelly can put our information in. But as Celeste said, no, the RN to MSN track, you only have the option of choosing those 3 specialties. It sounds like you said, did you say MBA or MPH?
MPH.
Right, MPH. So that is a completely different track. Now, how many of those credits are shared? There may be some double dipping allowed, but I don't know how much specifically. I can't tell you that we have many students that do that route. Not to say that's not an amazing route, right? But just email us and I'll make sure that I consult with the registrar's office to see how many of those credits you could use for both, okay?
Will do. Thank you. I
All
have a
right,
couple
thank
other
you, Kelly.
questions, but I'll see if anyone else asks them.
All right, Sarah.
Thank you.
And then the next question, Sheena, while you're on here, says I have a current RN license, but some of my prereqs were completed with my BS degree more than 20 years ago. Will this be a problem?
No, they won't be a problem. Yes, that's the beauty of that. No. So that should not be a problem, but I always tell people to send in their transcripts. We allow for unofficial evaluation. So if you go to our website, nursing.umaryland.edu, and you click on admissions on the right-hand side, you'll see a place where you can upload your unofficial transcripts, and we will look over them and let you know exactly what we will accept and what we won't accept and what your next steps are. So that is something that we offer to every applicant. And it takes about 24 to 48 hours for us to complete one. So go ahead and upload it and we can take a look at that for you.
That's excellent. And that also answers the next question about someone who has a bachelor's in biology and what would transfer. So the same answer applies there. Well, I only have prerequisites we require will transfer. Okay, so I think we sort of answered everything in the chat. Does anybody want to pop
There's
on?
a new question.
Oh, okay. I must have missed.
Currently at Cecil College doing the ADN program. I have a previous bachelor's degree. I'm wondering particularly from a financial standpoint, if I should do the ATB program for the BSN and then go for a master's, or should I wait and just do the RN to BSN?
That's such a great question. And Rachel, I actually, I'm so glad that you're on this call because I'm very interested in the folks at Cecil who are doing this program. I understand it's a small group. It's the only program like that where you have a bachelor's, you get an ADN and it's in 1 year, right? 12 months. Is that how that works? You could do the ATB program, but I don't understand how your semester works because typically there's 4 semesters for an ADN, and my understanding is this program that you're speaking about is an accelerated 1 year. I'm not doing so you're doing 4 semesters. I see. So then, yes, you could absolutely do the ATP program, provided you meet those GPA requirements, and you would get a BSN. Now, Sheena and Kelly can correct me, but if you do the ATP program, that's RN to BSN. That's not RN to MSN. That's different. So that's how you want to, what you want to do is you want to take stock in the programs that are offering, and please, one of you chime in, but if you do the ATB, you take a class with us for free while you're enrolled in your dual program, and then you do your bachelor's, and then you could apply for a master's. If after you graduate, you could apply for the RN to MSN and infuse 2 master's programs in your bachelor's plan of study. Did I get all that right, guys?
Yes, and I would just say I can't see who asked that question, but I would love for you to give us a call because you have so many different options and pathways with you already having a degree. So I want to make sure that you understand exactly what your options are, and then we can sit down from a financial point to see what makes most sense. But you definitely have a lot of pathways into nursing with already having a degree.
And yeah, and you're currently at Cecil, because we have a program here at Maryland where if you have a bachelor's, we'll teach you nursing and you end with a master's. But it sounds like you're enrolled at Cecil, so you would be primed for what's called our master's in nursing entry, MSNE. That's a program that we have here at Maryland. And instead of ending with an ADN, you would end with a master's. So it's very, very comparable, except you end with a much higher degree. But you're already So yeah, please talk to them because we have lots of ways and we really want to move nursing forward. So I'm so glad that you came on. Please reach out to any one of us, admissions, myself, because it's a pretty novel program at Cecil, and I am interested in how we can support specifically your group because of the education that you have to begin. Okay.
I'd like to add that, if you forget a question that you wanted to ask tonight, there are so many ways to reach us. You can call us, you can email us. We do appointments Monday through Friday. We have evening appointments. We have an online chat feature that you can hop onto just if you have a quick question. So definitely reach out to us if you have questions. We definitely want to help you get all the answers and help you make the best choice.
Yes, and Brandon, you're exactly right. So if you do the RN to MSN program, you're awarded your bachelor's, you walk across the stage, you celebrate with your family, you get your bachelor's, and then you move into your master's program after that. That's exactly right.
I didn't see this question in the comments, so I'm just going to throw it out there. I didn't see in the list of prerequisites if organic chemistry or biochem are required. Is that correct all the way up to master's?
So for the prerequisites, we require at least general chemistry.
Oh yeah, I did that.
If you have higher than that, great, but you don't need to go higher than organic or biochemistry.
Well, that is great.
And it must be at least 4 credits with the lecture and the lab.
Yeah. All right. Done and done. One last little question. Sorry for everybody. While enrolled at UMSON, are you able to take classes that are normally offered online through University of Maryland College Park?
That's a good question. I don't believe.
No. So we are both University of Maryland, but we are completely different schools.
Yeah, I figured. Okay, thank you.
I mean, if you want to be, a little bit extra and try to go to 2 different schools at the same time, you can.
It's just one class that I'm
Wouldn't
really
necessarily
interested in.
recommend that.
No. Thank you.
What is the class, may I ask? Because we have a host.
I unmuted myself. Sorry.
Okay.
Psychology 237. I'm also pursuing a degree in psychology on the side, but it's not a priority.
We have a host of electives, and we have a wealth of faculty experience, and each faculty essentially owns their elective, and so
yeah,
we don't have that. Oh.
No problem. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so if you haven't been to our web page, I can take you there just to show you. I think I can allow multiple share. I think I can share. Yeah, here it is.
And so that's why you're looking, Dr. Seeger, while you're looking to share the webpage. I know Bianca, she said shared this information, but I can't I think put enough emphasis on the Conway Scholarship. We get a lot of applications and a lot of people do not apply for the Conway Scholarship. Please, 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 when you apply to RN-to-BSN, after you complete your application, please apply for Conway. Conway covers 50% of your tuition, and you're still eligible for other grants and scholarships as well, as long as it doesn't exceed the cost of attendance. So please, please take advantage of a 50% scholarship. I want to say here lately, 99% of the people that applied to RN-to-BSN also are awarded the Conway Scholarship. So please don't forget about that piece.
Thank you. I'm so glad that you said that. And right, we were talking, I was talking to she's Associate Dean of the DMP program, and we're opening up another position to sort of think about you guys specifically. And one of the things that we were discussing is that we're of the mindset that someone who's a nurse who's working to get their bachelor's should essentially get their bachelor's without any out-of-pocket cost. If you're here with us and you get the Conway Scholarship, that's paying for half. We feel that your employer should match that other half, and that this degree should be essentially no money out of pocket for you, because we need nurses, and we need nurses to continue their education. And so what Sheena said, I mean, just really want to echo that. I often found lots of resources to make my education possible. And one of the main factors that I started at community college was financial. And so that continued to persist. That was a big driver. And we have these amazing avenues now to really make upper education much more affordable. And so please, please take advantage of that, because it's a wonderful resource. So here are the core courses that I'm sharing with everybody, and you take. And so this was kind of what Irene was talking about, this 450. It's this intro to nursing, but we sort of really drill down your writing and get you where you need to be. And what I see is often students come in and maybe aren't quite where they need to be. They're still putting things in direct quotes and doing all kinds of things that aren't acceptable. And they really get their writing cleaned up and do a beautiful job. We often, in that course, will send students as needed to the writing center. And Jen, Dr. Shum talked about that. This is a really important resource that we have. It's really important that your voice is heard, and it's important that you speak the correct language, if you will, and that you have a seat at the table. And so we really focus very heavy on this in 450, and then we move into 452. And in 452, we really look at understanding and assessing and appraising the research that's out there to answer our clinical questions. And these two courses together truly lay the foundation for the rest of the work that you'll do. These two courses here, 450 and 452, will take you all the way through to a doctorate in terms of the expectations for writing and appraising research. And just starting this spring term, 450 and 452 will be offered back to back, as opposed to a 15-week semester. So right now, all courses are on a 15-week semester in the fall and the spring, except for the summer. We have a few offerings in the summer. But this spring, we're doing 450 and 452 back to back. So you do 450 for 7 weeks and then 452 for 8 weeks. And that's specifically designed for the working nurse. And so we're really excited about this, because these courses, we want them to be together, and they really do. One comes after the next. So if you do enroll, you certainly want to start with 450 and move into 452. There are summer classes, and what's offered in the summer is 450 and 460. And I like to point that out because some students are confused about that. Every spring and fall, all the core courses are offered. But in the summer, the only two core courses that are offered are 50 and 60. So when you're planning out a schedule, make sure you make note of that. The electives are fall, spring, and summer, depending on what teacher's running which elective. So just wanted to make sure that I pointed that out. Let's see if there's questions in the chat. Did I think I might have missed accelerated. Oh, I gotta go down. What is that? Weekends. Oh, spring. She said now. Do you have to declare your MSN content? I'm sorry, what was that?
I was just gonna say, there was a question about prereqs. And so, Fatmata, I put the link to our prerequisite page in the chat. Our programs, all of our programs have very specific prerequisites. So if you did them during your previous bachelor's degree, great. If not, you will need to take the additional courses.
And then do you have to declare your MSN concentration immediately? In your application, you would. Is that correct?
Yes, but we do not hold it. We won't hold that, right? So you will declare in your application what your interest is, but definitely once you finish with your RN to BSN part of the program, if you decide, I really think I want to change, we will not hold you to what you previously said 2 or 3 years ago. So you can change it to any of the specialties you like.
And then could you just talk briefly, Sheena, about the process when they finish the bachelor's, what needs to happen for them to move into their master's?
Yeah, so if you apply to RN to MSN, you will complete your RN to BSN portion first. Then the registrar's office will reach out to you and say, hey, we see based on a note that we put in the system, we see that you wanted to move on to the nursing informatics portion for the MSN program. Is this still true? And if that still is true, then they will, there's a little behind the scenes work that we do in admissions, a little bit of magic, but there's nothing that you need to do. You don't have to reapply or anything like that. We on the back end fix your the system or the portal so that you can just seamlessly go right into the MSN portion. But even if you decide you don't know that you want to do RN to MSN, you can do the RN to BSN portion, and we have a nice segue right into MSN. We're starting a program now, or I shouldn't say program, but a process. Whereas if you maintain a certain GPA with your RN to BSN program, we can automatically admit you into the MSN program. So as long as you can maintain a 3.0, if very next semester, if you say, hey, I want to do nursing informatics, we can automatically admit you.
That's great. And I can just share a little of my experience when I was at the community college. The idea of going for an MSN seemed a little daunting because I was really overwhelmed, honestly, with finishing up my ADN. I had no idea what I was in for with a bachelor's. And so the RN to BSN made sense for me. And then after that, I applied for the master's program. And when I was in the master's program, people from the doctor program said, okay, you can bridge this many credits into your PhD. And so that's how I did that. So there's lots of flexibility. And I think the important thing to note is if you even think that you're going to go on, this is really a good school to do it because there's so much faculty and there's so much support. And like Sheena was saying, we'll work with you to get you where you want to go. So these have been great questions. Does anybody else have any more questions? Okay, so what is the enrollment rate for nursing informatics? I don't know that answer. Maybe you guys know.
Yeah, so we typically receive around 30 or so applications for nursing informatics, but we also admit around 30 for a cohort as well. Okay, so right now, I think we get, like I said, we get about 30, and we admit 30 students.
You're welcome. And I know that like there's a few students that are starting this spring. Out of those that have been admitted, a handful are RN to MSN, and a few have identified at this point that they will do nursing informatics, are very interested in that. In the RN to BSN program, we have a focus area. It's called Continuing Care Information Technology. And what you would do is while you were in the program, you would take 2 electives. They're called CCIT. because you select 3 electives. 2 of them would be this care information, CCIT, and then there's an informatics course built into the core courses. And at the end of the program, there would be a notation on your final transcripts that you had this CCIT focus area. We also have a focus area for substance use and addiction. And so similarly, you'd take 2 electives that focused on substance use and addiction. One's motivational interviewing, one is a course on addictions. And then when you get to that final practicum, Irene was talking about that, where you do a practicum in the community, you would do your practicum around that. And then you'd end with a notation on your transcript that said substance use and addiction. So we have those 2 additional things if you know that these are areas that you would like to further, especially if you're thinking about informatics. I really want to highlight the CCIT, and if you are, when you join the program, please let me know, because those electives are offered. So one of them's only offered summer and fall, and the other one's only offered spring. And if you move through the program in 2 or 3 semesters, you don't want to miss that. So make sure that you make that known, and I can work with you to get you in the right electives during the right semesters, especially if you want to go on. If you have a current RN and a BSN degree, can I go?
Interested.
So yes, I believe so. It's if I have a current RN and a BS and a BSN, could I go straight into an MSN program? Right, there's an application process, but that you would be primed for that type of a program. That would be the type of program that you would want to go into. And what other options, guys, is there for someone who has a nursing BSN?
One thing I wanted to mention is that we have our 3 specialties for the MSN, but if you're not interested in the specialties and you still want to further your education, you can get your BSN doing the RN to BSN option. And then after a certain amount of years of experience, you can apply to our doctoral programs. You don't have to have a master's degree. So keep that in mind. That's another option for you out there who are interested in getting your BSN and then furthering your education. You're not limited to just those 3 specialties.
And so I think it's Lisa, you're asking, can you meet with a nursing advisor before applying? You can meet with me. You can send me an email. We can set up a Zoom meeting, and we can certainly talk about all that, because there are a lot of pathways, right? Lots of people start different ways, and our goal here at Maryland is to meet you where you are and get you where you want to go. And we have lots of avenues to do that. So we can certainly meet with you. You can meet with those in admissions. They can tell you and go over the types of programs. You can say, this is what I have, this is where I want to go. And they can say, well, this is what's available to you. So you can meet with any one of us. Can you schedule a counseling session here? I don't know.
So that's actually just Jasmine is posting. She can
If you
just the
can.
link to schedule for, sessions with us in admissions.
Perfect, do that.
And then you can always contact us and we can give you Dr. Seeger's information, but her email is really easy. Her
Yeah.
last name at umaryland.edu.
Yeah, and all faculty are in the directory. So if you go to the homepage, you go to the directory, you can search for us by last name. We're all in there. I can put it in the chat. Oh, I got Jasmine in there somehow. How'd that happen? I don't know what happened. Doesn't want to go. Is there any other questions while I'm trying to send this? There we go. Some great questions. Maybe someone's typing or needs another minute. Yeah, thanks for taking your time to come on and ask these questions. It's really great to get the information up front. All right, thanks, guys.
And if anyone is interested in dual enrollment, I'm going to be scheduling specific sessions that goes a little bit deeper than what I explained today. So just keep an eye out for that. We can get you in contact, through your community colleges.
We got another question. Do you all see pivots from the MSN programs to MP concentrations? Um, I would assume that that's something we could talk about. Yeah, Celeste, I don't know if you want to answer that now, if you want to just
Yeah,
get
I mean, and so I think some of the things that Kelly was saying, I think, you could go into a DNP program too. So that would be important to understand if you had a bachelor's and you were a nurse. So, what we do typically see with RN to BSNs is, the BSN isn't their final degree. We typically see that many RN to BSNs go on, and get higher degrees. Kelly, did you want to speak to that?
Let me read the question again. So do you guys, I was from the MSN programs to, well, I mean, you could definitely do one of the MSN specialty programs and then continue on to a doctoral program. But you also have the option to do entry into practice BSN, go to doctoral, the MSNE, the entry into practice master's program, and then continue on to doctoral. But I don't know that you could really pivot. I think you have to sort of commit to your plan unless you're maybe changing an MSN specialty, which we can help you with. But I think you do have to commit to your main plan.
once you completed the MSN? Um, it depends. I mean, I think it just depends your passion and what population you necessarily want to work with. Um, I oversee all the DNP programs, but so usually the MSN specialties are very different from the NP concentration. So we have the community public health, nursing informatics, and nursing leadership and management. So if you specifically want to go into any of those kind of like paths, that would make sense. Now, if you get into that kind of, I guess, like population or area, and you're like, you know what? I don't think I want to do this. Then you can do the MP, sure. But it's not, I wouldn't necessarily say like a pivot, like, oh, from our MSN programs to the DMPs, just because usually students have a clear set plan. So it's usually like from BSN or RN to BSN or the MSNE program, and then they automatically kind of get their experience and then jump to the MP programs. So it just depends on what you want to do. We're always here to support you in whatever pathway you want to go, but it varies.
I would say sometimes it's better to have a one-on-one conversation so we can understand your situation better. So that's why we keep mentioning these sessions you can schedule with us, because that way we can dig in a little bit deeper to see what you're interested in, what you've already done, where you want to go, and help you on a personal level. So if it matter, actually, these programs don't require the T's. So you don't have to worry about that. No one here has to worry about the T's if you're interested in RN-to-BSN or RN-to-MSN.
Yeah, and this student here who's got a bachelor's, right, they have a bachelor's in business and they're applying at the community college. That is appropriate to apply for the MSNE, correct? So already have a
There's
bachelor's.
a lot of options.
Right.
You can do the traditional BSN, you could do the entry into practice MSNE program, you can do RN to BSN. Keep in mind, we have that partnership, which you get some benefits. You can do RN to MSN. So you're definitely a person I would say schedule an appointment with us.
Yes.
So we can talk about your specific goals.
Yes. Yeah, you definitely have.
Oh, okay. You're interested in the traditional BSN. Okay. So yes, if you are interested in traditional BSN, that is the T's is required, but because you do have a bachelor's degree, we will waive it for you. And because we require official transcripts from every school you've attended, once we get your BUI transcript and we see the bachelor's degree, we will waive the T's for you. Oh, Susan, thank you. I'm sorry. I just saw that you responded.
He's great. Right, well, hopefully you got a lot of good contact information for those of you that want to continue this conversation. Please reach out to us. We certainly want to continue the conversation with you. And again, we're really glad that you came on this evening and are interested in our school.
Absolutely. So I don't see any more questions in the chat. So if you do have any questions after our open house, you can always please feel free to email us, call us, go in the chat. All the options that Kelly mentioned a little bit earlier, to get any type of support that you would need. Also, of course, Dr. Seeger is also here to support you as well. So with that being said, I guess I'm going to give you guys, I believe the presentation's till 7, so 30 minutes back. Um, so I hope you all have a good rest of your evening, and thank you for coming once again.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. We appreciate you. Good night. Thank you for coming.